Hello, everyone. Welcome to the True Mind Shifters channel. We are starting our November stories with an incredible topic, the topic of word no.
Marina and I will be sharing true stories from our own lives around noticing how we think. If you like this topic, please like, subscribe, and share with others to amplify the goodness of this channel. November, no, the word no. It's such an interesting word, and we have a relationship with no. We can think of it as confining, constraining, but we're going to expand the scope of that word in a few different ways, and starting with noticing how we think, because frankly, that's where a lot of our life gets formed. And what Marina and I have devoted this channel to is not only becoming more aware of our thoughts, but also being able to shift them so that we can move into a happier way of living and being. So, but it all starts from somewhere, and that starts with noticing our thoughts because we can't really change anything if we're not more aware of it to begin with. I started thinking about this, um, I think, especially since Marina and I have connected. So, thank you, Marina, for helping bring greater awareness to how I think. As a friend, you've been able to be a sounding board. And when I'm speaking and sharing a story from my own life about what I might be challenged with or by, you help me notice, right? So sometimes we're like a fish swimming in the bowl and we don't notice what we're swimming in, the bubbles we're making, the water we're in. But you being on the outside, you're able to notice me, right, in a different way. So, first of all, I'm going to just say it's awesome to have such a smart, caring friend who notices me and notices what I think and what I do. So, thank you.
I'm super grateful for you. Not only for what you're saying, but for everything that you have given me, because in essence, we are actually sounding boards to each other. And I'm returning thank you to you for exactly the same thing. Not being friends prior to starting this, I think that both you and I have shown an incredible trait that a lot of people don't share, which is trust into each other's intentions towards each other, right? Because we had shown to each other an intention of love, care, and most importantly, with love, right? Having each other's best interests at heart. And to me, that's what caring is about. And even though sometimes you and I may not immediately recognize, agree, comprehend, accept, right, certain things, we still carry an immense respect for each other and immense gratefulness for each other's presence in our lives, right? In each other's life. And that's you. And I'm super grateful to you for that. And I'm also super grateful for you being able to see an angle that sometimes I don't see, not sometimes, many times I don't necessarily see, which allows me to think outside of my boundaries, because each of us have, all of us, not each of us, all of us, we have boundaries that we're so comfortable in. And the one of the things that I realized is living this life is to come outside our boundaries. Those are the lessons. That's how the lessons come along, right? But it's hard to understand, and that's what you have been sharing, Eva, that perspective, right, of swimming in your bowl, right, is swimming in our boundaries. And when we step out, we feel uncomfortable, always. And so when you're talking about recognizing your thoughts, recognizing my thoughts, to me, it means how do we address anything that feels outside of that comfort, outside of those boundaries.
So interesting because I'm a little emotional because it's kind of beautiful to have to be seen. I'm not sad. I'm actually really touched, that someone sees me. I got really emotional because uh, when you have someone that sees you, right, they notice you. So there's this noticing of ourselves, but then there's the noticing of other people. And I think this is incredibly powerful in relationships. Even at work, right? If you have someone in your group that notices your capability, notices your strengths, notices your potential, right? That changes the entire experience at work. It changes everything. Being noticed in a way that someone sees your capability, your contribution, your strengths, all of that, that's actually, I got really emotional because I think what it does is it actually helps release what's inside of us. If people don't notice and believe in each other, who they are on in the inside is trapped there. It doesn't get released. Someone noticing someone else and someone noticing who they really are. It is the only way another person can have an impact on anyone but themselves. And I don't think I thought about it until right now. And frankly, I think I was thinking about, well, let's talk about noticing our own thoughts and our own selves and being reflective and all of that about looking at ourselves. But it just struck me how powerful it is to think about when we notice someone else because of the power of how you notice me and what we've been able to do because of that.
Comes a really big hardball. What do you think? Yeah, okay, so yeah, I noticed that all was true, right? However, I also notice when people are, I don't want to say slacking, but just don't care. And it is a problem.
Say more, say more. What do you mean?
I'm talking about at work or in
Yes.
private life. There are people, like you're saying, you notice people, you notice their potential, you're supportive, right? But I also notice when they don't care, when they're not performing to their potential or half potential of quarter potential. And I can't just live alone. And uh to those people, right? So there are some people at work who say, why aren't everyone like you? And then there's some people who really,
They don't like you because maybe you notice what they don't do. And with others, they can get away with not doing what
exactly.
what they are being paid to do, right? If we're at work, we're being paid to do this. And if people and this can happen, right? There are many, this is not unique to you and me. Every team has people who are doing more than other individuals on the team. Every person. This is not a personal slight. And as Oak has called out before, on a different day, a person's 100% maybe 50% of their prior day, right? Things can happen. So, yes, you notice everything. You notice who's pushing, who's delivering, and you notice who's not. What's cool about that is that if you think about it, it's a fairly selfless act to notice. Now, noticing can move to shifting of like blaming and shaming, and it can happen when we notice things and compare. And I think that if we're at work, for example, and you're noticing someone not delivering, I have my new saying that the problem starts before the problem starts. So if you notice that someone's not contributing as much as they should be, or in a way, in a qualitative or timely manner, then back up. When and how were the expectations of delivery set? With whom? By when? Is it in writing? And were there agreements made in terms of how it will be handled if people don't deliver? What is the mechanism to go through? Because is it on your shoulders or the other person who observes it to call it to manager's attention? Who resolves these issues at work? And frankly, this becomes a big challenge for people at work, not just Marina.
And I have to tell you more. I am observing very interesting things, which may basically for us spill over to more than one story, because I truly recognize something, right, a while back through coaching and through development and through a lot of different things. If the person is not performing, it could be various things, and we should be able to work with it, right? In theory, in coaching. Here comes the reality, and that's my year-end observation, Eva. It all depends. So yes, I agree with you. People are not performing because A, they don't have the skills. B, something had happened in their life that completely killed their motivation. C, they are in the entirely wrong position. So you might think, and I might think, and all of the coaching and all of the books that I read, oh, one of the approaches can address this situation. So in reality, it doesn't work like that. It's not black and white. Because what I've noticed is you work with someone who doesn't have the skill set, you offer that person the training, you offer that person mentorship, coaching, everything, right? And you still don't get anywhere. You know why? Because, and that's my conclusion. And I could be harsh with it. So I apologize in advance to all of those sensitive souls. But the harsh conclusion that I have come to, because this is what I've observed, our work performance standards have been lowered to the ground due to many liability issues, due to people allowing themselves, calling HR right and left simply because entitlement. People's work ethics have been completely destroyed, and it's not people's fault. And the entitlement is not people's fault. I do not hold people responsible for it. I hold companies responsible for it. Because if you look at that picture, right, the entitlement, many leaders are afraid to make drastic decisions because of the liability issues that have been so much instigated that they're really restricting leaders to be absent. The overall essence that I'm hearing in corporations, and I'm not talking about the place that I work with, I'm just talking about in general, right? If you're a leader, you have to be likable. Doesn't matter anything else, you have to be likable. I disagree with that. Because the leadership is about being able to motivate people, yes, being led, but also to deliver results. Okay? And also because we are, as a society, have lost interest in providing quality in anything. We are asked to do everything fast. We are allowed to accept less than perfect, less than nice results. And by having that particular approach, we have created a culture where quality really doesn't matter.
Well, even there's the saying, time is money, right? And so getting things to market quickly is normally what the top priority is. And you, as a project management expert, right, you only have cost, schedule, and scope as your
Resources.
three parameters, you know, and your resources are a component of it, but they don't drive, they're part of what helps get it done. But you can only pick one top priority, and it regularly is cost. And so cost is usually dictated by, how optimizing your cost with and first to market, right? So it's all about less is more faster.
Right.
And that
So,
is not going to make it quality. That is not what produces quality. That's just what produces. So what here we are in this state where we want to help look at how do you produce quality? And I don't know, at least in life and in the quality of your life, the quality of your work life, right? Because again, for a human being, you're still the human being. You don't stop being a human just because you're at work. So it becomes a very interesting um, position people are regularly put in. So they're potentially having to sacrifice their perception of what should be happening, air quotes, when they go to work, right? So are we, yeah, go ahead.
moreover, I just want to go back to the beginning of our conversation, right? So when we talk about the quality of our thoughts and saying and noticing our thoughts, right? The number one thing is to have enough time to allow ourselves to stay still, to allow ourselves not to think about anything, right? In order to notice the thoughts. So the conversation here, how do you notice your thoughts? How are you able to notice people? By giving it. I can admit on a personal note that I used to be a very impatient person. And my husband used to tell me, and yeah, used to tell me, not anymore. Give it a time, give it a time, give it a time. And I'm like, no, no. What do you mean give it a time? What's the point? I fully recognize being completely wrong about this because only with allowing yourself time, staying still, sitting still, whatever, standing still, you're allowing yourself to notice your thoughts. You're allowing yourself to notice yourself, other people. And I'm one of those people right now who say, wait, don't hurry, which is completely opposite of what I used to say before. And I'm very grateful for that. Right. When you and I joined our forces, right, on this, I used to be like, oh, let's hurry, let's just do it faster, right? And you would say, hold on a second, let's look at this. You had that always in your, I don't know when you always, but at least in our friendship. Allow to slow down.
And it's not like it's going to be significantly slower, right? It's just about not being in go mode all the time, but that there's a pause, there's a reflection, there's an opportunity to notice each other, notice what's happening, notice our reactions, notice our thoughts, notice, etc., all the things we've talked about. And I do want to give credit to Stephen Covey, who, in his teaching of the 7 habits of highly effective people, he would say, with people, slow is fast and fast is slow.
That beautiful note, we're going to end this story today. Watch out for more content of the month of November with saying no, where no is not necessarily a negative thing.
We look forward to more stories in November, and in the meantime, we send you empowerment, support, and love.